Okay guys, today I'm going to make two videos. I'm going to make this first video and focus just on my new Athlon scope. Okay. As you can see, I've got it mounted on my FX Dynamic 357. Let me just go ahead and safe that rifle. This is the Athlon Helos 6-24X56. It has a 34mm tube. And this is about the fifth one of these that I've owned. All right. Every time I bought one of these and put it on a rifle, I'd end up selling a rifle and the scope with it. So anyway, I've wanted to get another one of these for quite a while and finally got around to it. And I was very pleasantly surprised when I opened the box at the extras that came with it, that did not used to come with it, but now do. All right. One of the wonderful extras that come with it is the sunshade in the box for free. And I'll show you what the scope looks like without the sunshade. And notice how easy this thing loosened up. I'll talk to that in a second. All right. That's what that scope looks like without the sunshade. However, since I'm shooting pretty much into the sun, it comes in real handy to keep any sun flash off my front lens. Now watch how easy this lines up and attaches. I want to point out the fact that many other scope makers that provide sunshades, I'm going to just snug it up, watch. Okay, you see that? And then I can just break it loose and like that. A lot of other scope makers, they make the threads weird or something, because when you snug it up tight like that, it becomes virtually impossible to loosen the sunshade without a strap wrench. It's just freaking crazy. And then you end up deforming the shape of the sunshade tube. It could be a nightmare. Anyway, so Athlon makes fantastic sunshades that actually thread in and off perfect. Just absolutely perfect. And that may not mean anything to you now, but if you ever had the problems I've had with that in the past, you'd understand why I'm celebrating that right now. So anyway, out of the box, this scope comes with a free sunshade, and it comes with a, let me move around here a little bit. Comes with a throw lever. Let's see if I can focus on that for you. And it's made for this scope. As you can see, it says Athlon. So this is not an aftermarket piece of junk. This is made by Athlon for this scope. It fits perfect, snugs up perfect, and makes it just this butter smooth and easy to change the magnification. All right. Now, the side wheel is something I bought myself from Amazon. This is by a company called West, I think, if I remember correctly. And what I do, it's a 3-inch side wheel. And as you can tell, it doesn't block access to this, pushing these magazines out of the magazine well on my rifle. So there's plenty of room there. It's a 3-inch side wheel, and I'll show you how smooth that works. I mean, watch this. Just with one finger, it's just that smooth and butter smooth and easy. And I buy these, and I just take the rubber insert out of in here, and I take some plain masking tape and lay it out and cut it in half longwise and wrap it around the the parallax focus wheel. And then I just remove tape a little at a time until this just press fits on there nice and snugly. As you can see, there's no screws to tighten it up against anything. There's no screws to bite into the focus wheel and ruin its future sale value. It's just a fantastic side wheel. You could also use the ones from Leapers. You can buy them on Pyramid Air. One thing that you have to do is take your Dremel tool with that sanding drum and make this part right here slightly larger. Okay, you may have to just take like 1 millimeter off that so that it will slide on there over this. This is your, of course, illumination knob here. You got 6 illumination settings. And so the other thing I'll point out, since I'm showing you this new scope, is the caps for the turrets for your elevation and windage are both, see that? They pop up and pop down to lock. Pop out, pop into lock. So you can't bump them and mess them up. All right, which is a fantastic feature. For this scope this time, I got the scope rings from Eagle Vision. It's a company from the United Kingdom. And these are some absolutely fantastic scope rings. And you can see they have little knobs here that you can loosen and just take the scope off without using any Allen wrenches or anything else. And one peculiar thing about these is that your caps don't sit on top. They sit sideways. Let me step around here so you can see that. All right. And it's really cool. They come with this nice tape that you put inside the scope rings. It's sticky on one side and soft on the other, so that when you tighten down your scope rings, you never have to worry about leaving a mark on your scope. So if you ever decide to sell the scope, it ain't got ring marks on it, okay? Which is a big plus, because from time to time we get tired of things and sell them. Now there's one other big feature about this Athlon Helos 6-24x56. I want to tell you guys up front that I'm a huge fan of Athlon. And I'm also going to tell you that I have, at one time or another, in the last 10 years, owned one of everything they sell. I've had a Cronus, I've had a couple different Aries, I've had several Midas scopes, and, you know, Helos. I just sold one recently that was the Heros, H-E-R-A-S, a Heros 6-24x56 with a 30 millimeter tube on it. Well, anyway, I've had every scope that they sell in first focal plane and several in second focal plane. My preference is first focal plane. However, this is the only first focal plane scope that I am truly in love with, and that's saying an awful lot. Reason being, with most first focal plane scopes, on the lowest power setting of, say, number 6, you look through the scope and you can't even hardly tell there's a reticle. I'm 70 years old, and you know, I wear glasses. I can see pretty good, but with most of these scopes, I'm telling you, at low power, 4 or 6 power, I can't even tell there's a damn reticle in there. So I got to turn it up at least to number 8 or 10 anyway, before I can even see a reticle, because most of those scopes have such a fine, thin reticle, I just can't see them. They're not good for me. Whereas this Helos, out of every other scope Athlon sells, this is the only one that has a thicker reticle that I know of. They may have come out with one. They may have come out with one for 2026 I'm not aware of. I don't know yet. But for now, as far as I know, this is the only one that has a thicker reticle in first focal plane. So that even down on number 6, the lowest power setting, I can see that reticle crystal clear. I can see every mark on it. I can see all the hash marks for the holdovers and the holdoffs to the left and right of the center. The holdoffs are crystal clear. The little numbers I can read. It's amazing. And let me show you something. Down here at 50 yards is my target. I got a white piece of paper with a bunch of shoot and see black dots on it, as you can tell. All right. And I love to shoot under number 6 power at 50 yards. You know? And it's so freaking easy. One of the points I want to make about that is I strongly encourage you guys to try shooting under the lowest power setting possible, which gives you the biggest field of view. All right? And keep both eyes open while you're doing it. Learn to shoot with both eyes open with the lowest power setting possible. And once you practice that, I think you'll get to liking it. You know, because you've got that whole huge field of view. And speaking of field of view, when you sit and look through this, you can tell I got it marked. So if I let a friend change the adjustment on this, I can always put it back where it works for me. When you sit and look through this scope, the only analogy I can come up with is be like standing in front of a giant round bay window and there's a reticle, you know, out there in your field of view. This thing is just crystal clear, edge to edge, under any magnification. I will, with the caveat that on number 24 power, there is a little tiny bit of blurriness around the edges, but don't bother me because I'm looking at the center of the reticle. I'm not aiming at anything with the edge of a scope view. So only on the very, very highest power would you get a little tiny aberration around the edges, but otherwise, edge to edge, crystal clear, absolutely perfect. All right. So that's about everything I can tell you about this. I strongly encourage you guys to try these Eagle Vision scope rings made in England. They're like the FX No Limits. Here, let me get down here and show you the little eagle they got on there, on those. For years and years, I've used the FX No Limits. These are similar, but like FX No Limits on steroids. And you can see they have threaded holes like on the left side, and hold on the top, up here, and here, and here on the sides. If you want to attach bubble levels or flashlights or whatever accessories you feel like attaching to it, okay? So in my estimation, these are absolutely far superior to the Athlon No Limits scope rings. And they're about the same price, maybe $10 more, who cares? All right. So that's about all I'm going to show you regarding the scope. And I'm going to close this video and make another one showing you a couple things about my rifle and my new magazines from Orion. Okay. So until the next video, see you later.